Dylan Corbett here with you. This is the newest edition of great coverage continuing in Minnesota high school prep sports on Gametime Media. Of course, check out the TC Gametime podcast. This is kind of the video accompaniment, is that a word, to this. We're going to be doing these Mondays and Fridays. Mondays, we're going to collectively look at the week that was. Obviously, we got to start on the gridiron. Crazy game. The rivalry for Lakeville, the battle for Lakeville, South versus North. Will the streak end? Highlights coming up in just a moment. We'll go around the state for football as well. Quickly touch and see some highlights from a big Chanhassen win in girls soccer over Prior Lake on the road. And then we'll wrap up with a little recap of still undefeated volleyball for Lakeville North. But first, we're going to go to Lakeville North and see how they fared in the battle for Lakeville as they went into South. Started up 14-0, and then South came back with a fury, and then back and forth it went all the way down to the wire.
And the snap to Grossman. Going to drop back deep, looking for maybe a screen. Instead flings this to the right side. It's caught, and on the run, down the right sideline is Forsgren, and he's going to score. Touchdown North, and the Panthers strike first. To try to control the clock a little bit. Grossman's going to throw from in his own end zone. Winds up, throws this one down the sideline, and he's got him. And this one again is to Aiden Forsgren, who slips a tackle, and he's going to score. This one goes 97 yards to pay dirt. About 9 yards off the ball right now. And they're going to punt it. Line drive punt over the head. Bachman takes a north bounce inside the 10. Bachman's going to pick this up and try to run with it. Tries to get the sideline, and now does. And across the 40, he's still staying in bounds. Oh, my goodness. He's going to take it to the house. Bookman for 6. Touchdown South. The goal from the 5. Dean drops back, fires a pass into the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown South, a stunner to end the half. Right in the middle of the field. Snap was good, spot down, left-footed line drive is good, and South is in front. Here behind him. And he tosses to Ripplinger, trying to get the edge, cuts it back into the end zone. Touchdown, Lakeville North. And they have jumped back in front 20-17. And go for it on 4th down. We're in the 4th quarter, 11:15 to play. And Dean's going to throw. He's going to chuck this one down the left sideline. He's got Shine. He's got it. Touchdown South. Jonah Shine down the left sideline. 45 yards and a South touchdown.
4A, I think?
4A?
Yeah.
3rd down and 1.
Might have to check that.
And Ripplinger gets the handoff around the left side. He's got a head of steam inside the 10. Cut back 5. Touchdown. Ripplinger from 30 yards away. And just like that, North has taken the lead. It's our 4th lead change of the half. 3rd down and 12. Dean takes the snap, rolls left, sets up, now throws this one deep and towards the end zone, and he's got Cade. Touchdown South. Connor Cade falling down in the end zone, and South is back in front with 2:19 to go. They're going to run a play. Snap to Grossman on 2nd down. Deep drop. Throws it over to the left side. Caught by Hunt. Turns it up. Dives for the pylon. Touchdown North. With 16 seconds to go, the Panthers have taken the lead. Yeah, South is out of timeouts. And the snap was low. Dean rolling right. And this is going to be the end of the game. Dean's going to heave it up into the end zone. It is batted away. It is incomplete. The clock is at 000, and the streak is over. Lakeville North has knocked off South 35-31.
Our discussion on the TC Gametime podcast, the first of its kind for this calendar year, for the fall season, right? Talking points definitely surrounded who's going to be that undefeated team still standing, right? It's, any given Thursday, Friday under the lights, you're going to be tested in the great state of Minnesota. And of course, this talented crop of football that we have throughout the great state. We were talking about Blaine, a surprise start, but they just fell at Anoka 27-14. Of course, you just saw Lakeville North beating South 35-31. Unbelievable. Undefeated no more for Edina. They went to Minnetonka and came away losers 35-28. So that was a thriller. Maple Grove, that was my pick to watch out for. Of course, they had the change of schedule, right? The whole are they going to be able to compete with the harder schedule? No problem so far for Maple Grove. 21-14, they beat Centennial. That certainly raised some eyebrows as their hot start has certainly gotten the attention of many people across the state. Chanhassen, I was there this past Friday night in which they got their first win of the season coming off the incredible state title, undefeated last year. Started out the year 0-2. They lost at home to Elk River, who we found out is an exceptional squad so far this year. And then they went and lost at Owatonna 21-7. We're thinking, how's this offense going to get going? Well, it got going in a big way. Century came to town. It was their senior night, only third game in to the young season, celebrated senior night, and things went great. 63-0. Game was over by the first quarter. Ramler threw for 3 touchdowns. Zielinski had a hat trick of touchdowns on the ground. Kaufman caught one. Jenkins and Jensen were all over the place. So good to see Chanhassen right the ship. 63-0. They head on the road, as we'll preview that coming up this Friday on the next edition of the show. Still working out a name. It was a Gametime Media Report, Gametime Weekly, Minnesota Preps Weekly, but we are doing this twice a week, right? So still kind of working out those kinks, but nice to be able to be in front of the camera here talking to you and going through the great action we had in prep sports. Farmington won a thriller. No short of thrillers in Farmington football. Jonah Osk again and company. They come from behind. They beat Rochester Mayo 40-36. We had a couple of last-minute games down to the wire on Gametime Media under the umbrella this past Friday. South and North. Farmington wins 40-36, coming back to defeat Mayo. Chaska went on the road at Mankato East. They won 7-6. How about that score? So Chaska gets the big victory. Waconia lost 17-14 at Mankato West. So that is Chanhassen's opponent coming up on the road Friday. So Chanhassen will look to make it 2-2 for their season record after starting the year out 0-2. And then a little bit of a surprise, perhaps to some, Egan goes into Rosemount and wins 29-14 pretty handedly. So that's a look around the gridiron. Let's flip to soccer here as we try to keep these anywhere between 5 and 12 minutes. Of course, the age of attention spans, but we've got action for you. We go through the scores, tell you about all the storylines you need to know, and then we'll dive into some more highlights here for girls soccer. Mentioned Chan girls beat Prior Lake 2-1, but do have to mention again to wrap up our football segment. So who's going to be undefeated, right? Well, as it stands right now, look at these 4 teams after a week. Another couple go down. North remains undefeated with a huge win over South. Maple Grove win at Centennial. They remain undefeated. Minnetonka topples previously #1 Edina. How will that shake up the rankings? Minnetonka remains undefeated. Shakopee undefeated. They won on the road, and they have got arguably, I would say, one of the better games of the week coming up this week when it's Eden Prairie versus Shakopee. Eden Prairie 2-1. They were winners this past week as well. Eden Prairie Shakopee this week. We'll preview that later on the TC Gametime podcast, as well as Friday's edition of this show, which will come out in the mornings, mid-mornings, early afternoon. So let's get into these highlights now. Chanhassen is going to come away victorious here, 2-1 at Prior Lake. This was a rainy Saturday game I had for you.
Missed the entirety of the net. Here's Naples, longest she's had the ball control, and she's opening things up. She's trying to get to that left foot. That's not out of her range. She'll pass it to Hansen. Hansen gets deep. A lot of net and a goal. Naples assisting Hansen, and how the momentum is shifted from a PK. Naples getting a good 3-yard run, steps right into it, fires a low rocket that is saved by Holmberg and then touched in. Off the rebound. 2-1. Chanhassen as right place, right time, Knutson. And then allow the equalizer, which made it 1-1 heading into half, but Knutson, the difference off the Naples free kick and save.
She rebounds it, and that's the difference. 2-1 is your final.
And then lastly, how about volleyball? Lakeville North atop the rankings, and they will stay there as they remain undefeated. A perfect 11-0 to start the year. And what more can come here for the Panthers as they start sensationally too this year and looking to avenge that section tournament loss from last year. I argue that they've got a pretty good team to beat. Let's see if they can make it another week of perfection. Again, the TC Game Time podcast coming up with Logan, Ted, and myself. That'll be out on Wednesday. You're tuning this to at your leisure, but these will be released on Mondays. We'll kind of recap the weekend and the week that was. Friday's a look ahead to football. So I'll talk to you then. And also for Chanhassen fans, I will be at volleyball on Thursday. And then Prior Lake, I'll be back at your place for soccer on Saturday. But that's just my broadcast schedule. I'll also talk to you here on the Minnesota Preps Weekly Show for the Friday edition coming up as we'll recap the week and preview Friday Night Lights. That's coming Friday.